You said we were going to a place Walt Disney built. No, Peter. I said supported. The Snow White remake has finally made its debut, and it's a complete train wreck. What was meant to be a bold reimagining of a beloved fairy tale has turned into a full-scale disaster. Audiences are outraged. Critics are tearing it apart. And now, even Family Guy is joining the roast. If you were holding out hope for a comeback, forget it. The movie is a chaotic mess of confusing plot lines, and Family Guy just ripped it to shreds. Word has it that Rachel Zegler, the film's lead, is furious. Insiders claim she's been keeping a low profile, dodging the spotlight since the backlash exploded. So, what went down? In a recent Family Guy episode, the message was loud and clear. They're not buying into Disney's latest woke version of Snow White. It all starts with Peter Griffin casually walking through Disneyland, and calling it awkward doesn't even begin to cover it. As Peter wanders around, clueless as ever, total chaos breaks out behind him. A roller coaster crashes, tagged with a brutal label, Disney stock. No subtle digs here. Family Guy went straight for the throat, and the point couldn't be clearer. Disney's golden age, crumbling, and no amount of rebranding can stop the fall. And just when you think the satire couldn't get any more brutal, Peter's watching TV. He spots someone attractive and blurts out, "She's hot." But then comes the reply, "That's a boy." It keeps happening again and again until Peter finally breaks. "Wow, that girl's hot. That's a guy. That guy's handsome. That's a girl. That cat is cute. That's a dog. What is everything?" It lands like a cultural gut punch because, let's be honest, hasn't everyone felt that same confusion lately? For Disney, it was like an alarm bell blaring during an already burning PR nightmare. Family Guy may have fired the first shot, but before the dust could settle, South Park launched a full-on assault. In their Ruthless Joining the Panderverse special, they pulled no punches. Enter a cartoon version of Kathleen Kennedy wielding the all-powerful Panderstone. Her goal? Cram another strong, diverse, brooding female lead into every legacy franchise. Logic be damned. Add another gay, diverse woman. Make it more boring. And the satire didn't stop there. Meanwhile, Cartman finds himself stuck in a multiverse where every beloved character has been replaced with a soulless, preachy corporate clone. What, you're totally fine with Cartman suddenly becoming a black woman? What's next? Gonna complain about Black Spider-Man too? It's hilarious. But it also hits hard. Because beneath the absurd punchlines is a truth Disney just can't shake. Audiences aren't stupid. They can feel when they're being pandered to. They can tell when representation is just a smokescreen for lazy, soulless storytelling. And frankly, they've had enough. Then came the line that lit up the internet, "Put a chick in it and make her gay." That single sentence became the battle cry for everyone exhausted by Disney's current creative direction. So how far has the backlash gone? Disney, once the unshakable king of magical storytelling, is now getting scorched from all sides. Animated shows, online creators, even some of the legends who helped build the empire are calling them out. And this firestorm, it's not dying down with Snow White. Next up on Disney's remake conveyor belt, Tangled. Word is it might be the priciest live-action reboot Disney's ever done. Over $500 million once marketing is factored in. But with Snow White bleeding nearly $200 million, fans are left wondering, why double down? And then comes the real issue everyone's whispering about. Who's getting cast next, and will they ruin the magic all over again? Because it wasn't just Rachel Zegler's casting that stirred the pot. It was how she handled everything afterward. The original Snow White was famously described as having skin as white as snow. It's right there in the name, a fairy tale icon. So when Disney cast a Latina actress in the role, the internet lost it. She's not white, but the character literally is. The backlash was swift. If you're remaking a classic, critics argued, at least stay faithful to the original. Rachel Zegler wasn't having it. She fired back on TikTok, passionately defending her casting and talking about the need for diversity in modern Hollywood. But here's where things really unraveled. Instead of just promoting the new film, Rachel started tearing down the old one. She called the original outdated, creepy, even said the prince gave off red flag vibes. That's when fans really turned on her. Taking on an iconic role comes with weight, especially one millions grew up loving. Mocking the original, that didn't sit right with anyone. And then she made things even more complicated. Rachel openly took a political stance on the Middle East conflict, signing a ceasefire petition. On its own, maybe not headline-worthy. But the twist? Her co-star Gal Gadot holds a very different view. Now, Rachel wasn't in the spotlight for her acting. She was in it for all the wrong reasons. And Disney, their PR team was scrambling, but the trailers, interviews, and glossy promotions couldn't clean up the mess. Then came the real blow, the numbers. With a bloated budget somewhere between $240 and $270 million, Snow White only managed to scrape together $184 million worldwide, a financial and cultural flameout. It bombed. No amount of spin could mask the failure. Rotten Tomatoes, a miserable 1.6 out of 5. That's worse than the reviews for fast food. Behind closed doors, blame started to shift. Jonah Platt, the son of the movie's producer, let something slip in a now-deleted comment. He pointed the finger at Rachel for the movie's downfall. Why? Because the audience didn't just reject the film, they rejected the vibe around it. The controversy, the constant drama, it left a sour taste before the credits even rolled. And while one fairy tale crashes and burns, another powerhouse is jumping in on the roast. The Simpsons. In a recent episode, they aired a parody of the Snow White remake, and it was savage. Rachel's Snow White is portrayed as smug, self-righteous, and downright unhinged. In one scene, she's cooking animals, demanding them to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. "All right, turtle, I'll need you to get in the soup." And the opening line? Lisa Simpson chimes in, "Yes, this is my version of the story, my own original creation." Sound familiar? It's a dig at Rachel's infamous interviews where she trashed the original movie's love story and called the prince a stalker. There's a big focus on her love story, with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. So we didn't do that this time. If that doesn't sum up the disaster, what does? The Simpsons took that and hammered it home with a sledgehammer of satire. And now? The fallout is epic. Out of 14 screenings, only a handful of tickets were sold. Even when Rachel showed up with friends, the theater was practically a ghost town. She posted on TikTok, flowers in hand, walking through the lobby like she was on a red carpet. But behind her, nothing. Empty seats. That moment, it was the perfect visual of the disconnect. Disney had promised Snow White would be the next big thing, but when the spotlight hit, there was nothing to show. And then the resurfaced interview. Rachel admitted she was terrified of the original Snow White as a kid. It haunted her. She actively avoided it for over 10 years. She only watched it after getting cast. By then, it was too late. Her words, they were drowned in the chaos. And Disney, they scrambled to fix things. They swapped the Seven Dwarfs with a diverse group of companions, but only cast one actor with dwarfism. Peter Dinklage didn't hold back. On WTF with Mark Maron, he called it out as selective progressiveness. Wrestler Dylan Postal chimed in too. "This isn't just about stereotypes," he said. "These were roles made for people like me, and now we don't even get to play them?" The backlash kept snowballing. Disney released a classic PR statement, damage control at its finest. They promised they were consulting with the dwarfism community. But then came the leaked photos. A diverse cast, sure, but only one actor with dwarfism. And the internet lost it. Again, Disney's attempt to modernize Snow White turned into a parody of itself. And the fans? They're not enchanted anymore. They're just exhausted.